Hey, welcome to a special broadcast of HBCU Legends. I'm Kyle T. Mosley, managing editor as well as reporter. I have two of the greatest HBCU legends in football history, but not only in HBCU history, but NFL history as well. I have none other than Mr. Doug Williams himself. How you doing, Doug?
I'm doing good,
Good. And I have Mr. James Shaq Harris. How you doing, James?
Doing great. Thanks for inviting us.
Oh, you're welcome. Look, first of all, because my dad might get mad at me if I call y'all James and Doug. Is it okay if I do that, or should I be Mr. Williams, Mr. Harris?
Don't call me Doug. You're good.
Okay.
All right. You can call me Shaq.
Okay, Shaq. And I was doing some reading that's a nickname for Meshach, right?
Correct.
All right.
Yeah.
So you got the Shadrach, Meshach, and one bad. Okay, we ain't gonna say the rest. But good. Well, look, gentlemen, thank you guys for joining me this evening. Let's talk a little bit about what you guys have done. You guys are pioneers. You guys are trailblazers, and you were mentored by one of the greatest football minds and coaches in the history of the game, right? Let's start off with how you guys got started for the HBCU Legacy game, as well as the Black College Football Hall of Fame. Let's talk about that first. Then we'll talk a little bit about where you guys came from, as well as the history behind both of you. So start us off, Doug. Tell us a little bit about the Hall of Fame.
Well, I think the Hall of Fame was born out of just a regular organization, just one of the foundations, just to do something for people. And we started in Shreveport, Louisiana. And then all of a sudden, we got to thinking, Shaq and I, we talked for many years about somebody starting a Hall of Fame, and nobody was going to start one. And we realized that it had to be started, and we decided to get it started ourselves, not knowing that it was going to be where it is today, but we started it. And luckily, we got people behind it, and we're here today with the Hall of Fame, and just blessed to have it at this particular time.
Yeah. So the Hall of Fame is located in Atlanta. Is that correct?
No. This is what it is. It's going to be housed in Canton with the NFL Hall of Fame. Okay. Now, what we do have our dinner in Atlanta at this particular time. We have our dinner there, but we're in the process of building the foundation out in Kent, and we're gonna be in there with the big boy per se. And we got a house there. We got footage. We got a real nice place, and we just got to build it out and to what we like for it to be.
Awesome. So you guys have the Hall of Fame. How many members do you have total right now, Shaq?
We have 90 members in the Hall of Fame, and 27 to 30 of them are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Some of the greatest players to ever play the game. And for example, for those people who don't know, one of the reasons is that, like Walter Payton, who's considered one of the great running backs of all time, they wouldn't know he was from Jackson State. Jerry Rice, considered the best receiver of all time, they would know he was from Mississippi Valley. Deacon Jones, considered the best pass rusher of all time, they wouldn't know that he was from Mississippi Valley. And Doug himself, for all he's done, a lot of people may not know he was from Grambling. So that's the history and tradition that we wanted to preserve, as well as coaches like Coach Robinson and so many other outstanding coaches.
Yeah. Well, outstanding legacies. A lot of people who are great football players are in the Hall of Fame, and many more should have been a part of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So let's talk about this Legacy Bowl. you know, you guys created the All-Star game. I know back in the day, Doug, you talked to me and you told me you were a part of a Black All-Star game as well. Why was it important for you guys to have that again at this time?
Well, what I didn't say I played in. I wasn't playing in. I was lucky enough to play in the Senior Bowl and in the East-West Shrine game. But I coached in one back in the day when they had one 2 years ago in Birmingham, Alabama. Fred Lane was one of the players, bless his soul, in that game. And it wasn't, you know, it was done, but it wasn't done right. And I felt like if we're going to do this bowl game, we got to do it right. We got to do it from the standpoint of bring the guys in for what we bring them in for, and that is to get seen. And hopefully, you know, anywhere from 5 to 10 to more, or even more, guys will get an opportunity to go to the National Football League. We want them to be seen and get an opportunity to go to camp and get them opportunity just to say, hey, I got a chance to go to camp. I might make the practice squad. I might make the 53. You never know if you don't get some guys an opportunity.
That's right. I remember Coach Rob said when a reporter asked about you, I guess he said, did he believe that Doug Williams can make it in the NFL? And Coach Rob said, yes, give him an opportunity. That's all these guys need. Give them an opportunity, right? All right.
Well, he got the words to say. He just said, give him opportunity.
Yeah, give him opportunity. All right. Shaq, any thoughts about the Legacy Bowl?
Yes, it is. You know, Doug and I both spent most of our career, you know, in the NFL and football. And we've been in the meetings and we realized that too many times they grade the school and not the player. And we feel that some players are overlooked. Sometimes they're drafted a round later. Last year, you only had one player that was drafted in the NFL. We think that there are more players that can make teams if they're given the opportunity. This game will give them an opportunity to showcase their talents to scouts are more up close and personal. And we think it'll contribute to more guys playing in the NFL.
Well, good. We need to have more guys exposed to it. You know, I was looking at the Jackson State and Alabama State game, and I saw that young, talented running back, Ezra. Ezra Gray just ran all up and down the field, those guys. And I said, this guy needs to start somewhere in the National Football League pretty soon. Tell me about this. Are you guys involved with the new HBCU combine that should be starting in April?
I'm gonna have to say no. We have no. I have no idea about that. That's
okay. No, we're not involved in that one. No.
Okay. How do you feel about having one for the HBCUs?
Well, I mean, if they're gonna have one and gonna have the guys that's gonna be there, I mean, I don't know how you're gonna get the ones that are playing ball now in the spring to be there. But I think if you're gonna have them, the guys that are not playing, they go and they got to understand that they're not gonna get their year back, you know, in the fall. So I don't know. I don't know about that.
All right. Now, you both of you guys were executives in the National Football League as well, right? And Doug, you still are. I'm sorry. But Shaq and Doug, as executives, and you mentioned before, you saw a lot of players, especially from Black colleges and universities, not able to get the recognition or able to get the invites that's necessary. What should occur? What more should be done to kind of get a more open table or forum for these young, talented individuals?
Well, I think it's just a show up and show out. They got to get an opportunity to work out. And I think on their own stage, working in their own space, and you see them work out, you might have a different opinion of it. And I think now the way it's done, a lot of scouts don't go to the university where they are to find out whether or not they can play. You know, they just pass by there on their way to one of the other universities and talk about it and pass.
I think we got to continue to sell the product. You know, sell our education. You know, we have a lot of outstanding graduates all around the country. Vice President of the United States. We got to continue to sell that you can get an outstanding education at the HBCUs and get more players to commit to come in and play. There are some players who are not playing at some schools who could play and get an outstanding education. So I think we have to do a better job of selling the product.
Okay. Speaking of selling the product, so you guys are going to have the HBCU Legacy Bowl at Tulane's Stadium, right? In New Orleans, Louisiana. Curious, how did it get to New Orleans at Tulane Stadium and not the Superdome?
Well, let me say this. We're thankful for Tulane. You know, holding it at the Superdome, you're talking about a big old place, you're not going to sell it out. You at Tulane, it's a little more intimate. It's a little more to the point that we'd like to have it. I think it's good that we're going to have it at Tulane. You know, we're going to have more people there. I think the guys would enjoy being at Tulane. I just think it's a convenient place for us to have it in New Orleans and at Tulane Stadium.
Yeah, it's a nice stadium. Real nice place. Have you guys been there, Shaq? Have you seen that stadium, the new stadium at Tulane?
No, I've not. I've seen it on television, but I've never been there in person.
Yeah, you guys would like it. Are you guys going to have events leading up to the big event as well, like career fairs, anything to that nature to help these young people who are part of HBCUs?
We're working on that as we speak now. As far as what are we going to have to go along with the bowl game, we're working on that, talking to the people too, as far as what we'd like to have and what should be. We want to be commemorative to the game, and in order to do that, we don't want to take away from the game itself. We want to add to the game, and if it means having a job fair, a university come down and talk about recruiting guys, stuff like that. That's what we want.
Okay, awesome stuff. All right, let's talk about some. I know Tulane Stadium, and I bring it up. And Doug, I mentioned this to you when you and I first started talking. Tulane Stadium, you had me crying one day at the Bayou Classic. I think the first Bayou Classic in Tulane Stadium. Shaq, he was throwing the ball all up and down the field on Southern University. Man, the Jaguars were crying left and right. The faithful didn't know what to do, but you had a great person behind you leading you up, and that was Coach Rob. Guys, talk about his legacy and how special he was for you and what he was able to help you do headed into the NFL. Let's start with you, James, especially because you were the second NFL black player to play in the NFL and start a game, and you started 20 plus games for the LA Rams, correct?
Yeah, I think for me, Coach Robinson is the one individual that I've met that when you have a problem or one of life challenges, he's the one guy when you finish talking with him can give you an answer. Most people can discuss the problem with you, tell you what's wrong and what you shouldn't do, but every time you go to him, he has an answer for you. And in terms of coaching, we like to say, I always say he's one of the 3 greatest coaches to ever coach the game. And I don't know who the other 2 are. He's one of the 3. But no,
I like that.
No, first of all, he's a guy that you can trust. You can trust him. He's a guy that believes in you getting a degree. When it's time for you to register he's there. And usually when they're troubled students, he's there to make sure that they go to class, not assistants. We're in an era now where it's fashionable to say that about the student athlete and how much you feel about him. But I think Coach Robinson genuinely told our parents that you're going to get a college degree, go to church. And he meant that. He made sure that we go to class. I think he's one of a kind and one of the great leaders in American history.
Definitely. What about you, Doug? Your thoughts?
Well, it's not more than that. I mean, the same way it was with Shaq, and he was the same way with me. He's been the same way from everybody, my brother and on down. He treated all us the same, and he treated us like we supposed to be treated. He treated us like men, but he also treated us as somebody who out there gonna make something of yourself. That's how he treated you, you know. So whatever Shaq said, you know, I couldn't do nothing but just shake my head because that's the same way it was with us.
Yeah. I recall meeting him in Houston. He was just a warm gentleman to meet, very personable. He took his time to talk to me. And I'm sitting there like in awe. I'm talking to royalty, in my opinion, you know, because my godfather went to Grambling. My uncles went to Grambling, tried out for the team and everything, but he had a busted knee. And my dad was the lone Jaguar. So, you know, we always got the stuff and got the business when it came down to Bayou Classic, right? But you know, for Coach Rob, he really did a lot, and he helped a lot of young men. I was interested in knowing when you guys got to the NFL, did he still stay in contact with you guys, or did you guys stay in contact with him to kind of, you know, lean on his advice at that time, Shaq?
For me, it was very critical because there were no black quarterbacks in the league. I thought I had no chance. Every night I thought the next morning I was going to get cut, and he was preparing his football team. But every time that night when I would call him, and I called Mrs. Robinson, and she would say he was busy till she found out it was me. I thought it was a tremendous help for me to be able to talk to him. He would come to the phone and be able to talk to him and talk about, you know, what I needed to do. And he gave me, you know, like the confidence that I needed to go out there the next day. You know, he would tell you things like, damn it to hell, match strength against strength, let weakness go to hell. Throw it like you know how you can throw it.
Love it, man. Love it, man. Now, Doug, you were the first round draft choice of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and John McKay was your coach. And Coach McKay loved you. He called you Dougie, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Homework.
Oh, yeah. Look, I like John McKay because he was a USC guy, and I wanted to attend USC. I used to always tell my dad, let me go to USC, but he wanted me to go up the road to Southern. But the thing is, man, I remember when you got to the league and how important it was that you were there. You had a kind of bumpy time the first couple seasons with injuries and things of that nature, right? But you finally got to the Super Bowl with Joe Gibbs. But I found out Joe Gibbs was on that coaching staff with John McKay. Correct? Talk about that time a little bit.
Yeah. I was there. Coach Gibbs came down to see me at Graham. He was the only coach I actually come down, and he spent 2 days down there. And he went back and he told Kenny Herock, who's general manager, and John McKay that we need to draft a young boy from Graham, and they did that. And you know, the first year I did get my job role the first year, but the second year we went to the championship game, played the Rams actually in the championship game and got beat 9-0. I hurt my arm against early in the third quarter and give us any chance to win at that particular time. So they went on to win the game 9-0 just in my second season as a Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we went to the playoffs 2 more times after that. Yeah,
man, I was so excited. I watched that game, and when you left the game, I was like, oh, no. I felt bad. I still remember that game, man. But I was just wondering, Shaq, you could have at least told the Rams to kind of take it easy on Doug, right?
Well, you know, at that time, You know, there's nothing like that cheering for dear old Grambling. I always cheer for dear old Grambling, and it was just unfortunate. But we're talking about a guy who came into the league and took a team who was at the bottom to the championship game, and
That's
then
right.
couldn't get fair compensation. One of the lowest paid in the league, had to leave, went and led the Redskins, and a guy really should be considered for the Hall of Fame. He had the big game for the MVP, where he had the big quarter, but at Grambling, we call that a routine Grambling day.
Yeah. Those beautiful spirals going down the field left and right. Yeah, definitely, man. Shaq, let's not overlook your accomplishments as well. When you first were drafted by the Buffalo Bills, was it the 8th round? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't have an opportunity to play at first. Then you went over to the Rams. Why the Rams? Did they give you an opportunity, or was it you got traded? What happened?
Well, no, I started the first game. I won the starting job my rookie year. So, I felt very fortunate about that. But like I say all the time, one of the things that I always feel bad about those who could really play the game and didn't get an opportunity, like, the Eldridge Dickey, even Toby White, the guy from your high school. I always feel bad because those guys could really play and didn't get an opportunity. But then Tank Younger, who had been with the Rams and had scouted me in college, was the one who signed me with the Rams, and I was able to go out there and play for years and end up going to the championship game, nearly getting to the Super Bowl.
Wow. And you won a lot of games, but that first game was memorable because you played against the San Francisco 49ers, right? And I think you had, 3 or 4 touchdowns that game?
3. I guess 50 years later, you can always add one.
Let's keep piling them on. Let them rewrite the record books for you, right?
Yeah.
But that was a good game. You guys really, if I remember reading the line notes, is that you were like 22 out of a 25 or 26 for the game, and you just like dazzled everybody. They couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I don't remember the stats. Coach Eddie Robinson said when the great score comes, he's not going to ask what's the score, but whether you won or lost.
That's right.
I remember we winning. Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Okay, let's talk a little bit about what's happening in the current state of the National Football League. Black quarterbacks are winning. You have guys like Cam Newton. You have Jameis Winston that's in New Orleans. And you have Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl winner, as well as Russell Wilson. Are you pleased with the current state of what's happening with the black quarterbacks at this particular time? Doug, I don't know if you can answer this because you are part of the National Football League, but is that something that's still of a concern for you?
You know what? The concern is not what it used to be. This past year, when the season opened, we opened with 10 quarterbacks. That's like 1/3 of the players in the league that was black at quarterback. You got 2 young guys coming out this year. That's going to get an opportunity to play, and I think it's going to be up. And I think if you look at the quarterbacks as a whole across the league, there's about 13, 14 guys that are in the league. And I think right now, the way the coaches are thinking, they're not looking at it from what they used to. It's looking at it for who could help me win. And I think these guys can play the game, not caught up in he's black, let's go with somebody else per se. So I think I feel pretty good where we are as far as the black quarterback is concerned.
What about you, Shaq?
We have the 4 highest paid quarterbacks in the National Football League, are black. I would say if you rate them, 5 to 6 of the top quarterbacks in the NFL are black. And I would say that, talent-wise, we got more and more talent coming in the league, and I'm a fan of the game, and I enjoy, watching them play. I think we finally beginning to realize that all it's about is opportunity. Blacks could always play quarterback. They've been talking about it since Doug left the game. I left the game. Can blacks play quarterback? It has never been that we didn't have the ability to play quarterback. It's just always been about the opportunity to play quarterback.
Okay, good stuff. Now, what about the opportunity to be head coaches? That has been debated over and over and over again. I know you guys have been in the executive level. Both you guys have Super Bowl rings. Doug, you have a Super Bowl ring as a player, but Shaq, you have a Super Bowl ring as an executive. Why are the coaching opportunities appearing to be dwindling down for Black coaches to have a shot at this time? What's your thoughts?
Well, I think it's clear. I mean, you can go straight to the ownership. The owners got to make up in their mind that that's where they want to coach their football team. I think that's where it starts. The NFL is 32 entities. It's not just the NFL that you put your hat on. And I think until the owners decide that we're going to get these guys, and not just get them, just to have them. There's a lot of guys out there who can coach. You're talking about Caldwell, you're talking about Raheem, you're talking about Leslie Frazier, Eric Bieniemy. We can go on and on. We can come up with about 7 or 8 guys that can coach. You're talking about Marvin Lewis. I mean, I can go on and on with the coaches. We can do that, but until the owners decide that they want these guys to coach, that's the only way they're gonna get in.
Yeah, I agree. I think it has to be a commitment. I think the process is flawed, and it's proven this year. When you had 7 openings and we had one minority, one Black and another minority to get a coaching job, 32 jobs, we got 5 head coaches. That's an indication that the process is flawed. And I think commitment, there need to be a commitment to hire Blacks to coach. And once again, it's been, we have outstanding Black coaches who coach a lot of years in this league, and they continue to get passed over, not getting the opportunity. And we're aware that all we're asking is that hire the best guy. Mm-hmm. And we feel in a lot of cases, the best candidate has been Black coaches, and they've been passed over. And that's something that need to be changed. It need to be more of a commitment to hire. And it's just unsound what happened this past season.
Yeah. Well, good thing is that we see more general managers getting an opportunity. You have the young general manager in Cleveland. He's done an outstanding job. You have Terry Fontenot, who's from New Orleans himself, New Orleans boy. He's now with a much hated Atlanta Falcons for us. But you do see the opportunities of Detroit as well. They're giving those opportunities, and if I'm missing out somebody, please charge it to my head, not to my heart. So
you missed Martin.
Chris Greer down in Miami.
Yeah, exactly. The Miami, and you see what they're doing to turn that program around. So they're doing a really good job. All right, we're going to have a Q&A. We're going to have somebody come in who is a part of the SWAC. This guy knows you, Doug. This is none other than my partner in crime. He was my mentor growing up. This is Kenny, the Body Snatcher Times from Southern Jaguars.
What's up, Kenny?
All right, Doug. How you doing, Shaq and Doug?
Hey,
man, it's a pleasure to have this opportunity to speak to both of y'all.
Right.
I wanted to give you all that credit that you deserve through a voice. Thank you, Doug, for building a legacy in the swag. And so do you, Shaq. Doug, I played with Doug, and so there's a little bit more. Doug, I want to thank you for knocking down walls, pulling back curtains, speculation, anticipation. You destroyed the 3 P's: probable, possible, and potential. You did it. So nobody can use that when they speak about you. You
Right.
let the world know what you done, not through your mouth, but through your action. And your determination when you got up off that ground resonate to this day. I want to ask you, coming from an HBC, what for some young kid that's out there today, not just a black race kid, not just a black kid, any kid, want to know what the expectations, and not only that, the drive that you have to make that happen for yourself. Can you share that with some of these kids and some people that's anticipating about probably entering an HBCU?
Yeah, I think number one, you got to put your hands over your ear. You don't hear nobody, and you got to look at it for what you want to do, and you got to go out and try to get it done. During my time growing up, I never heard from anybody saying what I couldn't do, because I wasn't going to hear that. I was going to hear what I could do and what I'm going to do, and I made sure that I did that part. But number one, to get a degree, get an education. That's where it starts. And if you put your mind to that part, the rest of it gonna follow. I promise you, if you put your mind to getting a degree, whatever talent you have as far as athletic is concerned, you'll be able to do those things with yourself at that particular time.
Okay, thank you so much. Shaq, I want to ask you a question. When you come to adversity and you at a crossroad, where do you pull your energy from an HBC to prevail? Because some of these kids now, when they hear a no, they don't have patience to wait on a yes. Tell them what it would take for them to persevere and be in the position that you're in.
I think when you go to a HBCU, first of all, you don't have many of the things that you have at the other universities. And many times your family that you grow up and become, this also teaches you to overcome and prepare you for life challenges. So when you finish school, you're already expecting life to be a true challenge, and you got to be better. You have to be overcome. And for me, I realized in order to do that, it's all about preparation. You got to have proper preparation and be prepared for the opportunity. If you prepare for the opportunity will come. But if you're not prepared, then you'll miss it. And I think that you have to focus your attention on your intentions. What are my intentions? I want to become an executive in corporate America. Then I have to focus my attention on those intentions.
Excellent. Doug, I'm back to you for one more question, please. You played for the great late Eddie Robinson, both of y'all. And I want you to explain to me, because I can't get in the mind of that, so you can share your mind with me, to play for Coach Robinson and not only play for him, but your brother came behind you, which no one speaks of him. Tell him I say hello, because you put a blanket over his name totally. They don't. But tell him he is known. And to coach your son, tell me what that triangle is about. Playing and setting a standard, setting a mentor for your brother, and coaching at the university, and also coaching your son. Give me a little insight of what luxury that has.
I tell you what, it was something that it's something that you really it's tough to explain. To have played for Coach Robinson and learn everything that you possibly can learn about, what he wanted you to do, and the more you stayed around and got to know about the offense, you became Coach Robinson. You became who he was. You started thinking like him, and that's what I started doing as a player. And then, your brother playing for you, hey, you got a chance to talk to him while you playing and say, this is what Coach Rob gonna call when he get in this series. When he get in this series, he's gonna call this. He's gonna do this, and you get to thinking like that. And then when my son came, I treated him. We didn't run the same thing. We ran some of it. I treated him like Coach Rob would treat me, and that is, he told us all the time he didn't have no feelings. He left his feelings at home, and he treated everybody the same per se. When things got tough, he would say, hell, Cat, my feelings at home in the drawer. Hell, I don't have any with me. And that's the way he is. So I try to teach my son the same thing. Sometimes he got mad with me, but I didn't care. But I treated him, and he would tell you to this day that, some of the things that I taught him was to understand that it ain't going to be easy. It's going to be some tough time. And you got to be able to weather the storm. When the tough time comes, you got to be able to go through it and come out on the other side.
Yeah. Well, my brothers, I want to say that love conquers all. And I love you, brothers, man. And y'all continue to realize we all three know this. Never look down on a man unless you're picking him up.
I agree with that.
Very well said. Very well said.
Very well said. Now, Doug, Snatcher told me he stacked you around 3 or 4 times. Is that true?
No, that ain't true. Doug, let me answer that. We didn't play Grambling State University when I first got. Doug was like 2 years ahead of me. We didn't play Grambling. We didn't play Coach Eddie Robinson. The persona around there was we playing Doug Williams. He put fear in us. Let me tell you, it wasn't about the university. I'm not lying. I'm being honest. It's like we were going to play the Bayou Classic. It's not like we going to play Grambling. No, we're going to play Coach Eddie Robinson. No, we're going to play Doug Williams. Do you know how much that penetrated? It was almost like, let me give you an example. It was almost like, how when the Chicago Bulls walk in the stadium, I don't care what team it is, they know that Earl Bottom, they coming to play when Michael was there. The same thing with San Francisco 49 with Joe Montana. They walk in the stadium. Half of that team has said we're gonna lose. The other half, I don't know, but they lost. That's the Earl that Doug brought with him with his name, whether he know it or not. And I'm sharing what's inside of somebody else's mind. Gonna get prepared. You was at the beginning of the first game. We didn't play y'all to the Bayou Classic. We had to think about you 9 games before we got to you, man. So I'm letting you know what kind of devastation you put on my mind. And so I'm gonna be honest with you. You interject something in me when I got there, because I didn't believe that kind of persona could be with somebody, and you could not see that university and not that coach. So as Kenny Times, I want to be like you, far as a nose guard. I want them to say they ain't playing Southern, they playing Kenny Times, and that's powerful, man. That is not something you just walk over and sweep under the carpet. It stands up, and it stood for this day to the time you was on that field. I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate you. Yes.
Thank you.
So I had to get you straight on that one, Kyle, because you finna get me some trouble. Because boy, he gave out some whoopings on that. He gave out some real whoopings. I'm talking about like 6-0. He ain't had no heart back there. Doug was just. I'm gonna tell you too. Doug coming there. Yeah, they say don't give a cripple crab a crutch or po dog a bone. I said beat a dead horse. That's what Doug did. I appreciate you, man. I really do.
Look, Doug, I had to do that, man, because Snatcher, when you left, that's when they finally won. right? And
Yeah, we got whooping like, I mean, when I got the guys that was better than me, and I'm looking at them, I'm talking about, you know, guys like B Saint, Big Jack, all them guys, and I'm saying, why can't y'all stop him? Why can't y'all get to him? Man, let me tell you, they red-shirted me my freshman year, and I saw it on TV, and he was just throwing them bullets like you never seen. And I'm gonna tell you something, that gold and black put fear in your heart. People don't know that. I'm serious. I mean, you're not scared of the team, but you look at that dark black and you say, whoa, you know, these guys coming to play, and everybody on their monsters. Everybody on the team monster. I'm talking about inside linebacker, 6'6". Boy, they were monsters. Man, you be like, what a little linebacker, what a little receiver. It wasn't nothing there on them. And so I got to just tell you, I'm being honest with you. You have put your staple on the SWAC forever. And what's so good about it, you never flaunt that. And that was so powerful, to be that humble and understand that grace that was given to you. And that motivation that you have translated into many people. You have absolutely no idea that you reached from the north, the south, east, and west of this world with what you have done. And truly, I am grateful. I am grateful to know both of y'all. Barrett, I mean, Shaq as well, man. I mean, I know what I even asked you, what some of the milestones you had to step over, and how many no's you heard to get to a yes. But that's a persevering for you. You are made for persevering. You are built for knocking down walls and pulling curtains back when you hear no. So I want to thank both of you, brothers. Thank you.
Okay, Snatcher. You see, this is why I don't bring Snatcher on that often.
I'm excited. I'm excited about these brothers, man. I'm excited, man.
Take over the airwaves.
I'm excited, man. I love the guys, man.
It is exciting. It's exciting because, you know, Snatcher, not only are these guys legends in college, you know, in black college folklore, right? But I believe both of you guys deserve an honor to be a part of the National Football Hall of Fame as well. For what you've done as trailblazers and pioneers. Think about it. Shaq, I mean, you were there winning football games as a black quarterback before anybody else, right? Doug, you were right there, and you had the opportunity to come back to the league and win a Super Bowl and be the MVP of the Super Bowl. You know, everybody in black who was black at that time was like, hey, we knew he could do it. We just needed to see him do it, right? And, you know, credit to Joe Gibbs that he gave you that opportunity as well.
Right.
So thank you guys so much. Before I let you guys go, man, and it's been a very, very nice evening to talk to you guys. Let me ask you this. Based upon the current state of the colleges and universities, because some of them have been suffering, especially through this pandemic. What can we do, or what can more people do other than alumni giving back to your colleges? Are there sponsors that we need to get a hold of, like sponsors for your game and sponsors for the Black College Hall of Fame and sponsors for the institution? Is that the route that we really need to go, keep on knocking on these doors and trying to get their attention?
Well, there's no doubt about it. It is money. It starts with money. And whether or not you're giving to the black colleges, helping those out, or whether or not you're giving to the Black College Hall of Fame, to the game that we're going to play. I think all of it is money. And the more we give, the more we can give. We can start doing some stuff ourselves, and we put in that position with the money part. But I think at the end of the day, it's coming back with money, coming back, you know, to the black colleges. You know, back in the day when I played, you know, Kenny would tell you, you know, 75 to 80,000 was nothing in the Bayou Classic. That's where it's supposed to be. You know, we're not there anymore. We rooting for other schools now. I think once we start giving back to our schools and coming back to watch them play, you're giving guys hope. You're giving them tradition. You're giving them what they always had back in the day with somebody pushing them and hoping that they would go further.
Yeah, definitely. What about you, Shaq?
Certainly, we can use sponsorship to help us support this game, and that'll be a tremendous, help to us. But I think the other thing too is that the alumni has to give back. We got to give back more to our university, write checks ourselves to help our university. And I think we got to do a better job of talking to the young people. Let them know about our education and about the degree. We have so many people in this country that are doing well, and we got to get that across better, so we can make our schools more attractive, more interesting. And we gotta do less among ourselves talking about our schools and talk more for our schools.
Yeah, exactly. One thing I'd like to ask you guys about, you see the resurgence and the popularity of the Black football experience. Deon Sanders, he has come into Jackson State. He has brought energy, vigor to that program. They just lost to Alabama State, very good game. But you see ESPN is starting to elevate him and his program to now they went from ESPN3 to ESPN2. Now they are going to be on ESPN. Doug, you know the game and the dollars and the cents behind the games. Is it that the television execs are seeing that the HBCUs are bringing in more money and sponsorships through their broadcast, or is it just Deon Sanders?
But I think number one, we got to give our commissioner some props. And he has a lot to do with it. That's Charles McCullough. I think that, along with Deon coming to Jackson State and bringing his team to where he brought them to, and he lost one game, but he's still Deon Sanders. And I think a lot of schools got coaches on their campus that coaching their team that can coach. Deon just brings it to a front for that not everybody can be seen. And I think that's what's happening. Just like going to Alabama State, Deon got whipped. It's not going to be a party for Deon in the SWAC, outside the SWAC either. So at the end of the day, he's going to win some, he's going to lose some, but he got to get used to winning and losing. I think that's what he's up against.
Yeah, I agree with Doug about the commissioner. I think it was a great move on Jackson State part in hiring Deon. We brought a personality to the SWAC. We brought a guy that's great at marketing, and he's put together a pretty good staff. And it looked like he's impacted the SWAC with some of his recruiting. So he's been a big asset to the SWAC overall, so far.
I wonder if some of those NFL coaches who were not given the opportunity could be able to be attracted to the SWAC after seeing the success that Deon has had early on. What are your thoughts there?
I'm not so worried about guys that in the NFL and coach. I think we got good coaches who out there in the SWAC now. I think they just got to be given a chance to coach. We end up picking guys that we think can get the job done. We don't always pick the best guys. We pick some guys that might have played here or might have played there and think they can come in and coach, but they're not. But you got to be able to pick a guy that wants to coach, that can coach, and give him that opportunity to coach. So I don't know whether it's the guys in the National Football League, because they're not going to make the team who any better than what they already are unless you go out and bring some players in that they can't be brought in by anybody else that are recruiting. And that's what Deon is doing now. Deon's name has a lot to do with some of the players that he's bringing in. And it's going to get to the point that you're going to bring in a lot of guys that's not going to get a chance to play, so they're going to have to go somewhere else. So I think that's what's going to happen.
I think first and foremost, Deon has been coaching. He's been coaching teams for several few years. He's been coaching in this Under Armour game. If there are others to follow what Deon has done, then they can make sure that they have the experience in coaching, that they have the ability to put a staff together. And another thing is that they have the will and the commitment to want to coach.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Any last words, Kenny?
Well, yes, I would personally like to thank the two brothers that I'm talking with. It's been a long time coming. Let me ask you, Doug, in coaching, and what advice can you give? Because you coach, and there might be a first time want to be a head coach, and he looking at you, and you had the opportunity, and he wants to know what was your frame of mind at that particular time that he should bring to the table.
Well, I think number one, as a coach, you can't bring somebody. You can't be afraid to bring somebody in that know more football than you. Number one, I think that's what you got to do. I think if you're the head coach, it's incumbent upon you to bring guys in who know the game. He might know one facet of the game better than you, and it's your job to listen to him, because at the end of the day, when y'all playing somebody, and if the defense does well, I didn't do it. He did it. It's just that, and give him credit. Give him credit. And if the running back or the quarterback do well, hey, make sure you understand, you know what? He did a great job with the quarterbacks today. And because at the end of the day, when the dust settles, you're still a head coach. You got a good staff. So don't be afraid to bring people in that know more football than you.
All right, Shaq, one more. Shaq, I want to ask you one more, and I know Kyle said I love to talk, but of course I do. But anyway, Shaq, I want to know, because in life we do get in our own way, as everybody. I'm speaking in terms of myself. What can you tell somebody that's looking to get in a position like you, how not to get in their own way to be successful?
I just think, once again, it's all about preparation. And I think that you got to continue to prepare. Like so many times you go on the interview and don't get the job. You got to continue to prepare for when the opportunity comes. And it's not, and I should say prepare, I think it's proper preparation.
All right.
Awesome. This has been a great evening. And gentlemen, thank you so much for allowing me to be able to have this talk. And I know a lot of people have been on the air watching this whole interview. Before we get off, tell the people again about how to find information about the Legacy game as well as the Black College Hall of Fame.
Well, you can go to the Black College Football Hall of Fame.org, number one. But I think this past week we actually have had a lot of articles written about the Black College All-Star game that's going to be held in New Orleans, and on the 20th. I don't know whether it's 22nd or what. It's the weekend after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, February 22nd, I believe.
I think it's 22nd. That's like a week after the Super Bowl. So that's when the All-Star game is going to get played. And so whatever you want to find out, go to Black Football Hall of Fame, HOF.org. You can find it there.
Awesome. Shaq, any last words?
Well, we just thank you for having us. We'd like to thank all the support that we had these first 10 years for the Black College Football Hall of Fame. We'd like to get the word around that they continue to support us and support the HBCU Legacy Bowl.
Awesome. Look, and anything I can do on my end to be able to help you guys out in the forum, your family now. And I feel like I'm part of y'all family. Kenny as well. I know he's always been family, you know, the fighting the SWAC way. But I thank you guys so much. It's been a tremendous honor to be able to have you guys. Thank you. I appreciate you, one. And thank you so much for what you guys have done, the legacies that you have given everybody. And we've been right there cheering you on throughout everything. Welcome to the HBCU Legends, Mr. Doug Williams and Mr. James Shaq Harris, as well as Kenny Times. I'm Kyle T. Mosley. Thank you so much. You guys take care.
Thank you.
Love conquers all. Love